Weekly review or no bedtime story? Inbox zero or you get no weekly allowance? Or did you complete your checklist? If not, no dinner today. Okay, hold on. I'm not really that much of a blackmailer or tyrant to my daughters, but there are some good and cool productivity rules and good habits that I've been trying to pass on to my kids now that they're at an early stage to make their life easier and in the future help them be prepared for the demanding future when hopefully they'll be ahead of their peers. So as a productivity nut and a productivity student, I would like to you know pass on some productivity to my kids. So Magda, what do you think? Am I a bad person?
No, you aren't. I'm sure you are not so cruel and so aggressively passing on the productivity rules. You are a good guy. But I get you, and I see your point. I see why you are doing this in those demanding times when where kids, I think they have much harder lives that we did. And what I just wanted to add and to, yeah, at the beginning, to emphasize that children don't really learn by, by listening to your preaching or by listening to your lessons or podcasts. They learn by observation, by modeling, and they observe you. They very carefully observe you, so beware. And they see if you are well organized, if you are planning, if you are noting down things in your calendar, if you are setting up alarms or notifications or reminders all the time, as I do. They see that, and maybe that will be just a tip or a clue for them to follow. I remember when I was a kid, of course, as I said, that was different times, crazy 90s, but I had a rule at home. Magda, you don't leave our apartment if you don't do your homework.
Hmm.
As soon as you finish, you can go and you can come back late. And that was the rule. And I knew, because my father was a strict guy, uh, that there was no choice. I just had to sit down, do quickly what I had to do, and then I was free. And it was good. It was a, like the universal rule for our home. And I knew that, and there was no escape for that. And that learned that, yeah, that taught me something. That first your duties, first the things that you have to do, and then you can have fun. And I'm trying to pass on that to my kids as well. And it's much more difficult because they don't have such a simple life as I did. Because they, after school, they have their extra lessons, some sports, some languages, which I didn't have. So it's much more complicated. They can't do homework right after coming back from school because they are they are very tired, and very often it's already late. But yeah, I'm trying to teach them and to show them that first responsibilities, then fun. And also I really like to um, um, I would like them to follow the 2 minutes rule, because I think it's very practical, and that this is the first step to not postponing things and not to procrastinate on things. So if there's something that you can do very quickly, just do it, have it off your mind, and be free and be like less stressed. So these are the two things that I'm trying to pass on. But I'm not so cool with productivity and technology as you are in your family, so I can't wait to ask all the questions and learn stuff from you.
Before we do that, I also would like to remark you know, to keep instilling in them curiosity. That they should be curious, and especially about modeling. I remember this situation when my eldest, she was only 9, and she saw me doing a presentation for a webinar, for a Nozbe webinar, in the
Mhm.
keynote presentation um, application. And what was very interesting is that she was like looking at this and she asked me a question. So, what, Daddy, what are you doing? What is this program? you know.
Mhm.
So I just showed her the basics of Keynote, that you do slides and then you present the slides. And she was like, huh, can I do that as well? And I was like, yeah, you have an iPad, so you can have Keynote on your iPad and do the same thing. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to do it for my school. I have to present something. I'm going to do it with like you know. And
Mhm.
then she went off. And a few days later, she showed me her presentation. And what, first of all, I was shocked that she actually did do it in the Keynote app. But the second thing, she, I showed her just really basic stuff. And she learned the transitions, the animations and all that stuff. Because she was curious about it. She was curious, like she discovered all these features. And again, I just pointed her to this direction, but then everything else, like it was her. And she's still doing presentations in Keynote to this day. So it's like how they observe, and how curious they are. Like it's really great how they mimic us as well.
Yeah, that's true. And also, the other thing that I'm observing with my kids is that they don't have problems with organization and with management and with remembering about the stuff that they are curious about and that they like. So they like after school lessons that they ask me to pay for and to attend, and yeah, about the things that are cool for them. So that they never forget. They never want to skip it. They always are well prepared for those things that they like and that excites them. And
Yes,
yeah, if there
yes.
is something that they don't like, they are likely to forget.
We have that, we have that thing with my wife, that because our youngest, she's 9 now, the youngest one, the third daughter, she's 9. And because she's the youngest, we always assume that, for her, we have to be extra careful. You have to remember things for her because, she's the youngest. She doesn't remember, she doesn't know, you know and
Oh no, no.
and no, 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 recently it was like, Michael, my wife was like, Michael, remember, to prepare her for this and this and that. And I'm like, but I don't know what we have to bring and whatever. And then she's like, and then the little one, Liana, she's like, Daddy, I know what we have to bring. So let's go. And then she prepares everything. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's the same when like when my daughter comes from school and they like tomorrow they have to bring something. We have this electronical journal that we have to check every day because the teacher communicates some like makes some announcements, and sometimes I forget to read it because there are no notifications about it. So but she always remembers, Mom, tomorrow we have to wear green tops because we have some I don't know, event about spring, or tomorrow I have to bring something. She always remember the stuff, and it's I admire that for her because yeah, she never forgets that. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is only beginning. Probably soon, when her brain is tired as mine is, she will start to forget, and she will need some systems, which we will now discuss.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So let's start with with the basics. For me, basics is time management,
Time management,
and
yeah.
especially um, calendar. Like, before I convince everyone to use my Nozbe, let's start with something simpler and something really basic, something inherent, that that we know that today is a Wednesday when we're recording this, and it's gonna, the show is gonna be on Friday. Like the kids get these concepts, and calendar is the main thing for us. And we I mean, my daughters, they all have their devices as well, but only the eldest have the iPhones, and then but all of them have iPads. And it's always like the hand me down iPads. So and in my family, as you know, I'm iPad only. I use iPad for work, so whenever I upgrade to the new iPad, there is a line, who gets my iPad and then who gets the iPad from that person. So it's like there is a line. um, and they all had iPads, and then they all have also individual iCloud accounts. And me and my wife, we have been sharing calendars forever, like since forever. Like we were sharing the same calendars. There's calendar for my wife with her name, Evelina, and then my Michael, and then so that we know in our common calendar, like who has what. Um, both my wife and me, we have our professional calendars. I have our Nozbe calendar. She has her, jobby job calendar. We don't share those. Like this is too much information, but we do share our private calendars. Or if there is something that happens at work that influences our private life, then I put it also in my calendar. For example, if I have a late webinar or I have a meeting with a
Mhm.
customer from the US in the evening, our time in Europe, then I also put it in our family calendar that I have a meeting or something like this. So only then we put our stuff in the calendars. But we also have our family calendar, and this is the calendar that we are sharing with our daughters. And
Mhm.
over there we put all the family activities. And if it's an activity of one daughter, we add a name to it. So for example, Liliana gymnastics, right? So, and then we put it, when it happens, and it's a recurring event, let's say. What I do is, for example, if someone has like some kind of sports twice a week, what I do is I put, for example, Liliana gymnastics Tuesday, and I put it on Tuesday, and then recurring every week. And then I put
Mhm.
additional event, Liliana gymnastics Thursday, and I also do as a recurring event for every week.
Mhm.
This way, it's like the recurrence is not that complicated, and then it works easy, and then you can modify things in case something happens. So
Mhm.
so we have that. We have common calendars, and the daughters have access to this calendar. And the cool thing is, as I mentioned, we in this family we've had lots of iPads. So I also have like really old iPads, and one of the my oldest one of my oldest iPads, my iPad 3, actually the one where I started working iPad only, from 2012, is still
Wow,
operational.
legendary item.
Legendary iPad, yes, it's still operational, and now it's hanging in our kitchen, and it's plugged into the power like all the time. It's there in the kitchen on the and then it has an additional iCloud account, and it's as read only. It accesses all our calendars, so it displays all our calendars this
Oh, so
way.
this is cool. It's like the old-fashioned paper calendar that everyone used to have on their walls. That's a great
Yes, we have it as an
solution.
iPad, and
Mhm.
then we have
Cool.
electronic calendar. So this way, it's like we can review the calendar together. Like when we are in the afternoon in the kitchen, the kids are after school, I'm after work. We can still go to the to make sure that we can review the calendar. Or if anyone needs to check something, they don't have to have their own device. They can just go walk to the iPad, and then check the calendar.
Mhm. Cool. Wow. That's really nice. And okay, so these are calendars and time management. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about was the weekly reviews. Do you do
Yeah.
something like that? Do you summarize things? Do you plan together or everyone
Yes.
individually?
Yes, we do. So as you know, I'm a big proponent of getting things done, of weekly review. In Nozbe, we have Mighty Friday. So
Fridays.
our Friday is different. We work for 4 days on Nozbe stuff, and then on Friday we do the weekly review, and then everybody in our company tries to spend time on personal development or whatever they want to pursue or listen to or read or watch or whatever. So it's our time, and on Friday I do try always on Friday to do a good weekly review, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoons, it depends. But this is my weekly review. But then on Saturday or usually Sunday, we have a meal together with the whole family, and then we do our weekly review. So what we do is we go through the calendar and see what's ahead of us, what's coming for
Mhm.
the next week. If our all sports activities are still on, if there is some exception, if someone has something important, like for example, some of my daughters sometimes have swimming classes, but it's not every week. It's like every, I don't know, other week for just a
Mhm.
few weeks. It's not very it's not very regular, so we check if it's on calendar, if we noted it down to make sure that they can prepare and bring their stuff there. So we could basically go through the week. And also, if I work from home, but my wife has traditional job, but but thanks to to her employer being open-minded, she can work in a hybrid mode, so she can work from home and from office, and she basically chooses half half. So half of the time she's in the office, half of the time
Mhm.
she's here. um, I mean, usually it's a little bit more in the office, a little bit less at home. That's why it's important to know when she goes to the office and when she doesn't. And also this can impact our plans and everything. So we also review that.
Mhm. So you are planning a lot together, and do you also review the past things? What has happened last week? What did you do well?
Huh.
Do you summarize, or it's rather what looking ahead?
I mean, usually we focus on the planning, but I think we should also. That's a good improvement suggestion. I think we should also do, because in the episode where we talked about my journaling, I also do gratitude in my journaling.
Episode 75.
Episode 75, exactly. So if you want to learn about our journaling habits and the benefits of journaling, episode 75. And over there I also do like the morning gratitude. And I was thinking about it, but now you reminded me that we should kind of incorporate this kind of gratitude, summarizing the past week, with
Mhm.
the girls, because
I was
it's
trying to do this once with my kids after our episode about journaling, and
uh-huh,
I just forced them to, while we were eating together, I asked them just the random questions from your template
uh-huh.
and shortcut, and it was like a little bit cringe, but then they just maybe moved on, and after a while it was fun to say about like nice things and things that we could appreciate. But at the beginning it was like, mom, what are you trying to do? It was fun.
Yeah, but exactly. But these questions that what are you grateful for? Something small, a new opportunity, all that stuff. I think it's a nice conversation starter once you get past the cringe part. So
Yeah, but as I said in the episode about journaling, the great starter is talking about what pissed you off, and that's always a great start. And yeah, when they didn't want to and they felt like about gratitude, I said, okay, so what pissed you off, and then that was like the breaking point.
okay. So first we get angry, then we get happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should do that. And also another improvement I want to do for next school year, because now in here in Europe, in our northern hemisphere, summer is coming, summer vacation is coming, and
Mhm.
my kids are finishing school this week. And uh, and some kids in other countries have already finished school. So the thing is, what I want to do next year, also incorporate in the weekly review. I'm very ambitious. Again, I'm the tyrant, productivity tyrant. I'm very ambitious. I want to go also and put on calendar um, uh, when they have exams or some important tests, because
Mm.
sometimes they ask me to learn with them, to teach, to study with them, to
Be the
review.
tutor.
Yeah, to be their tutor. Yes, and I love it. I love doing maths with them. I love doing physics with them, doing even English with them, Polish. I like it. But what I don't like is at 10 p.m. when it's time to go to bed, uh, them going to me, Daddy, I would like to study maths with you. And I'm like, why now? It's very late. Because test is tomorrow. So I
Oh.
don't want that. I don't want to have this looming test study with them. Have more of a plan. When we can study. And also some evenings or some afternoons I am busy, and or we have some plans, so we will not be able to study. So it's important to know when we can study together.
Yeah. Okay, but you know that at school sometimes they also schedule the test from like day on day. So maybe that was something unexpected.
And, no.
Okay. So that's about the review thing and planning together. And tell me about the devices and what devices you have and how you are using them. Are your kids allowed to
Yeah.
be on their smartphones at home? Do you have any screen time limits?
Yes. So of course, screen time is our friend. So on the just before I move on to that, so this is, I mean, this podcast is not an ad for, Apple devices. If you have Android devices, it's fine. You can also have shared Google calendars. So the calendar on any platform, you can have Microsoft calendars, whatever works for you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really easy to set up, and it's really important that it's really for the calendar part, it's really easy to set up in such a way that you can really share the calendars. You can put stuff in the calendars, or decide that some people cannot add things to the calendar, to this calendar, but they can add to the other one. Like, you can do all that. So
Mm-hmm.
this way, it's really easy to set up, and we have it set up like this. And but on the Apple devices, it's built in the screen time feature, so to limit the time. And the screen time feature is important because, we don't want the kids to play on the iPads all the time, and especially not during the school week. So my daughters have it set up that they cannot use play games during the week on the iPads, but they can play on the weekends also. Like, there is a limit of 1 or 2 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
that they but of course, the messaging apps, the calendar apps, like the note taking apps, are unlimited, so this way they can use them. But So that's easy. And then every now and then, when we do the weekly review, we also review the screen time statistics to make sure that that we see that something is getting out of hand, it's too much, or not. Because of course, also, sometimes they ask us to extend their screen time, and sometimes we say, okay, no problem, we can extend. But then if we extend too much, then it's just too much playing and too much. um it all depends. But thanks to the fact that we can set up the basic limits, it's really helpful, because then we negotiate up from these limits. But we have these limits already built in. um, so that's very easy, and it's really helpful. Also, speaking of you know kids not only doing what you say, but doing what you do. I had this situation when I was, browsing my Mastodon feed or social media feed on my iPhone, and my daughter was watching me do that. And then at some point, screen time popped up saying that my time is up on social media for today. And my daughter was like, "What, Daddy? You have screen time? You have limits?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, because otherwise I would spend so too much time on social media. So I do
Wow,
have time
that's so
limit."
nice. She must have felt really, really like fair.
Right?
Mm. Mm.
and
Cool. And
that
is that true that your daughters don't have social media? I mean, like TikTok, Instagram, that are like usually on kids' phones?
no, no social media. They have WhatsApp. They have the messaging platforms. So they have that. This is kind of their social media, but they don't have social media. Even my eldest 16-year-old, she doesn't have TikTok or Instagram, and her friends do. So they very often send her like some TikToks or Instagrams. My daughters watch quite a lot of YouTube, so we have to watch about the YouTube part. So
Mhm.
YouTube is their only the kind of social media thing, and especially to make sure that they don't watch too many shorts, because shorts are like basically like TikTok.
Yeah,
Uh,
dopamine.
Yes, but they don't use TikTok and Instagram, and I'm really happy about this. Like my favorite book author now, Cal Newport, in his podcast, he mentioned that he is advocating for the kids to have social media only once they're 16, and I don't disagree with him. Like, it's so much social pressure and so much um, you know again, kids learn what they see other people do. So when they
Mhm.
follow influencers, like really stupid influencers, they will want to be like them, and I don't want them to be like the
Mm,
stupid
that's
influencers.
really nice. That's a really responsible and like bold decision of yours.
Yeah,
But
but
if she doesn't complain and she doesn't feel kind of left out, or she doesn't show the FOMO uh, symptoms, that's great. That's a great thing to do.
and the attention span, like my eldest, she doesn't have TikTok, but she's being fed with TikTok by her friends. So they send her TikToks, so she watches the best of the best. So she has like kind of curators
It's
who
already
send her,
filtered.
yeah, so who filter the TikToks for her. But then she complains that these people have really short attention span. Like and she sees that, whenever they talk about something, they get bored easily and they pull out the phones easily. And
Mhm.
she's like, come on, we are just having a conversation. Why are you like, like, why can't you just focus on this conversation that we are having? And so
Mhm.
she can see that. And I think this is a situation where it kind of reinforces her decision of not having social media yet.
That's
That
nice. That's
when she
really good.
sees that her friends cannot, like, focus for a longer period of time because they just like want to scroll.
Mhm. Okay. When we are talking about devices, I wanted to ask you if you are still following your rule about not pulling out your phone in front of your kids, like during your time together. Do you
Yeah,
still
so
have this
exactly.
trick
So
not to use your iPhone?
yeah, so let's go back to this thing of pulling up the phone. So I am guilty as anyone, that if I have my phone in my pocket, it's kind of,
It seduces you, yeah.
yeah, it's hot there. Like it's, it's asking to be pulled out of the pocket
Mhm.
easily. And I realized that recently, that because I used to do something else, and now I'm going back to it. Because, in also a productivity tip: have chargers of the devices in dedicated place in the rooms. So, for example, we have a kitchen in the kitchen. We have a kitchen corner with a charging station. Then
Charging
we have,
station.
yes, we have one in the living room, and we have and also, everyone has their, we have also charging here in my home office. Like, so we have it in strategic places. We have chargers. And so now what I'm doing, I'm coming back to the same thing that I used to be doing when they were smaller, is that when I go down, I put my phone on the charger, and I put on the MagSafe, magnetic charger. I put the phone there, and then I talk to my daughters. Because if I wasn't doing that, if I had my, phone in my pocket, I would just pull out easier the phone. And because I have Apple Watch, uh, I am being notified about phone calls or messages. So it's not like I'm going to miss out on something urgent just because
Yeah,
my
so
phone.
if in case of emergency you are still available, it's
Yeah,
just not grabbing your attention so much. Mhm.
yeah,
That's a
exactly. And
great tip.
and
And you
and
don't
this,
have to have necessarily the Apple Watch, yeah? It's not
yeah,
only the tip for the rich people. You can
exactly.
have any type of smartwatch that can connect to any phone, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, any smartwatch or smart fit band, or like most of them, even the cheapest ones, have the basic connection that, that they will notify you about a phone call or urgent
Mhm.
message.
Yeah, and that's what you need actually, right?
Yeah,
Only the
yeah.
basics.
Exactly, because, even the, the big size of the Apple Watch Ultra is not conducive to scrolling. There is like
Yeah.
there's nothing to find there. So having the watch is not tempting me to
Mhm.
go scroll somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why I prefer to just use the watch. um, and so that's why I recommend, having one. And then the same goes with headphones, like, because people say, but if I want to listen to a podcast while I'm doing dishes. So when you're doing the dishes, it's actually better to have your phone away because otherwise you might want to do the dishes
Mm.
and the phone, and and it might just fall in. uh, but also, we have wireless headphones now, like, which are cheap, like Bluetooth headphones.
Mm.
So you can have your Bluetooth headphones while you are doing dishes, and this way, the phone can be there, away, charged, and you can do things around the kitchen. And
Yeah.
also with the headphones, the moment somebody walks up to you, you just put the headphones down, the podcast or whatever stops playing, and you can just have a normal
Mhm.
conversation. So this way,
Yeah,
if I
and
get,
thanks to that, your kids don't see you with the phone all the time,
yeah,
and you are not this role model of a person with the screen in front of their face all the time. Yeah, that's a really practical tip. Mhm.
exactly. So I think this is really important to, again, to show them that you are not glued to your phone, that you are not glued, because otherwise they will be glued to their phones as well. Like this
Yeah.
this is
You are
how
the
the
most important person in their life, so they will just want to be like you, usually.
exactly.
Okay, so now tell us the secret. Is all everyone in your family using Nozbe or not necessarily?
Before I I tell the secret, let's talk to somebody who let's show somebody who definitely is using Nozbe and really likes it a lot.
Once I started using Noseby, that's when we started to really think beyond like a freelance mindset to more of a team mindset. And the beauty of it is that we can have a remote team. So we could hire people based on their credentials or based on, relationships that we had with people that we knew would be really good, and didn't have to hire based on location and somebody that's within, a mile radius, something close to where we were. It also, Noseby is very intuitive and easy for a team to use. So as we add new people, whether it's a contractor or an employee to the team, we can get them set up with Noseby, and within really an hour, they can see projects and tasks that are assigned to them, and start working. So most of our teams really taking Noseby pretty easily.
So, as Sarah says, Nozbe is very intuitive and easy to use. But in my family, I am the main Nozbe user. So the thing is that we have, as you know, in the new Nozbe, you can have different spaces, like workspaces, and we have two workspaces in Nozbe because we have a business account, so we have two workspaces. I have the workspace extra for the experts program, for Nozbe expert program, but then I have another workspace just for my family. So it's our family workspace, and over there my wife is invited, and she has Nozbe on her phone, but she doesn't use it that much. Like, she goes there, but
Not religiously, let's
not
like that.
really, not like me. But for me, it's important that she has access to it, because this is where I plan everything that we do.
Mm.
Because I first of all, I have projects that are just basically maintenance or kind of recurring chores and all that stuff. So, and I have the insurance, car insurance, car checkups, like all these things I have scheduled. I have
Payments.
put them in Nozbe. Also, like, we have this machine downstairs in the basement that filters our water, to make sure that we have the right type of water in the house. So for that to do, you need to put salt in there. So even I have like a recurring task every 2 months to put in salt in there,
Mhm.
and of course, sooner or later I would know that the salt is not there, because the water would stop flowing. But then I can destroy the machine. So I don't want to do that. So I have a Nozbe, a Nozbe task for that. So it's like, um, I have these tasks for this, to organize the family stuff, and I am
Mhm.
the main family stuff organizer, and that's why I put it all in Nozbe. But that's why my wife also has access to it. So in case she wants to check if something is due or something is to be done, she can also do that.
Mhm.
But second thing, whenever we go on a trip, I have templates for our family trips, and I start a new project from a template, because with a family of five, of three kids, and a wife and a husband, we have a big checklist whenever we travel. Like,
Even the greatest mind wouldn't control it
no,
all.
no, I mean, to not to forget all the IDs, all the documents, all the necessary things, like, some medication, like all that stuff that
Mm.
you need to have, and you really have to have. It's um my youngest, she has kids asthma, so we need to have her asthma medication, because if we don't have it and she has an asthma attack, we are screwed. So it's important to really make sure that you have the checklist. So that's why I encourage everyone to create like a short template of things that you always pack whenever you travel.
Yeah, it's so practical. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You have the checklist, the what you have to take. Sometimes you can modify it, of course, because not every trip or journey is the same. But you have the fundamental things.
Yeah, and you go through that, like, you have a checklist, and then you decide, okay, I'm not going to pack that. It's fine, you make a conscious decision, but you will not forget about making that decision, because you will have it on the checklist. That's why
Mhm.
it's really, really important to have such a checklist always handy. So
Mhm.
So I use Nozbe, but again, I'm thinking that maybe my eldest daughter next year, she should give Nozbe a try because she is, in high school. Things are getting serious for her, and maybe she should give it a try. We'll see how this goes. If my eldest daughter starts using Nozbe, I will report back on this podcast.
Yeah, but if she doesn't, nothing bad will happen because Nozbe is not for everyone, and generally the productivity apps, they're different and they're not for everyone. So that won't be a very serious
Yeah, I know.
problem if you
I know.
prefer something else.
Only my heart will be broken, but that's it. Like,
Oh,
nothing
nothing.
else.
It doesn't
No,
matter.
because our second app that we use in family and that we use quite often is
Mhm,
a note-taking app called Apple Notes. So again, we use the Apple Notes because it's built in on all the platforms. We have it, for free in the system, and
mhm,
it's very easy also to share because what I haven't mentioned is that we have all of our daughters and all of us. We have different Apple accounts, and we are under one family umbrella of Apple accounts. This way, it makes the management of all this easier for me. Also, this enables us to share apps, so my daughters don't have to buy apps again. They can just use
subscriptions. Mhm,
yeah use our apps, the apps that we bought, so they have access to the subscriptions that we pay for.
mhm,
Also, then our backups, they all go to our family backup, which is also very very easy. Also, we have the Find My, so we have the option to see where each device is.
mhm.
So if somebody asks me,
You can
Daddy,
follow your that's
where's my iPhone? Okay, let's find it. So it's easy, but also this way we can see where we are, and
exactly.
nothing to hide there, so it's fine. And so this is very very helpful to be under this umbrella, and also this helps us share notebooks in Notes app, so we can share entire notebooks, entire folders of notes in Notes
Mhm,
app. And we have, for example, a whole notebook for example, all the healthcare stuff, so health visits. So whenever there is some healthcare issue, and we scan the document with the phone, because there is this option to scan documents,
mhm,
and we put it in the note of this thing. So this way, if we have a follow-up visit, we can go back to the previous visit, see the previous documents, see what previously was prescribed. We have all that digitally, because also our documents, like IDs and passports, we also have them scanned digitally in our Notes app. So we have to make sure that I like to have all of that digitized, to so that we can share it and we can have access to it.
oh, that's really nice. That's really practical. Okay, and tell me, how is with the remote work? Does it support your productivity approach, or it's rather ruining it? The fact that you are working at home and your wife sometimes works from home.
Yeah. So sometimes it is. I mean, the good thing is, again, let me give you some context. We live in a townhouse, so we have several levels, and my office is on the top level. So there is a barrier of entry to visit me, because you have to climb up all the way to the top of the
Three
house.
floors up.
Yes, this is very. I mean, if you live in a townhouse, this is a great tip. You should basically, have your home office on the top floor, because then people will not just accidentally go to your home office. Whenever I see houses when the studio office is right next to the kitchen, I'm like, ooh, that's a bad place. uh, of course, yeah, I mean, it all depends. If this is what it is what it is. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't want to be too close to the kitchen, because then I would eat too often, and also people who would be in the kitchen would jump to my home office just to
Yeah, and
ask me some
yeah.
questions.
Mhm.
So this is helpful, but they do go to my home office sometimes to ask me for things. And there is a special technological tip that I have, is I have installed a smart IKEA bulb, right outside of my home office. And if it's on, it's connected with this camera. So if this camera is on, the IKEA bulb is on as well, which means
Wow.
I am in the
That's a
meeting.
great tip.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
you can do an automation like this. Whenever the camera is on, then it's a
There's a special app for that?
I mean, it's in the again, it's in the Apple Home app. You can have the
Okay.
both in the Apple Home app to manage the home.
Mhm.
So we can have the I have the switch for the camera and the
Wow.
and the IKEA bulb. I have them connected. So in such a way that if I turn on the camera, the bulb goes on. If I turn off the camera, the bulb goes out. So this way,
Mhm.
my daughters know that I'm in a meeting. So if they want to interrupt me, they know that they have to watch out if the bulb is off. If it's off, that they can go into my home office and ask me for something.
That's
So
cool.
so it's like a very cool tip. And to have just dedicated lamp kind of thing that shows that you're not available.
Mhm.
But of
Yeah,
course,
but as you said, probably it's nice to plan, as you said, like with your wife when she works from home and where she's away in the office. So yeah,
mhm,
planning here is important probably, and maybe also assertiveness, because
yes,
sometimes, as we all know, the people who work from home, they know that people keep asking them about things for
yes,
for different favors, not
yeah. I mean, sometimes
respecting
they
that they are working.
sometimes my daughter is like out, and for example, let's say now this week they have school, but they have like a different activities. So
Yeah,
like
like end of school is always
yeah,
kind of
so like in the middle of the day they would call me, hey, can you pick me up? And I'm like, no, I'm at work, I'm sorry. So sometimes I say that, but sometimes if I have finished something and I do want to have a break for like 20 minutes, I'm just gonna, okay, I'll pick you up, and then I'll just go drive and pick them up, and it's fine. So again, I'm flexible about it, uh, um but yeah. Also, the good thing is about my wife being working from home is that then we very often eat lunch together. So it's also
Mhm.
nice. Also, we have like a break, and we can have lunch, and we can talk about family stuff, and then go back to our to our work work offices, home offices. Um,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So in that sense, it's I think working from home, yeah, I think it's to me it's beneficial. To it's cool. I'm closer. Like when I finish the work in 1 minute flat, I can be in the kitchen talking to my daughters. The commute is very short. Um, Also, when we do the weekly review, sometimes we also discuss when are the days when my wife is going to be in the office and when she's going to be home,
Mhm,
because then also my daughters, then know when to expect mom here or when then she will come later because she'll be, still commuting from work.
mhm. Cool. Okay, so that was probably all of the practical tips that we have. Maybe there are a lot of more, but we won't take more of your time. To wrap up, I think it's very important to remember that not everyone is the same, and sometimes the rules and some mm, like tips or tricks won't work for some people, and they will work for another type of personality or mm, yeah, like type of, yeah, personality. And it's not every child is productivity machine, not everyone is easy to manage, so that's okay. And I think our role as parents or partners, because it's also it goes for partners, to observe and to see how can we improve, and what will work for them, and how can we help each
Yeah,
other to be more productive.
and again, I would stress the communication part. To have this weekly review is that doesn't mean it has to be some kind of a really structural, important, step by step weekly review. It's more of a have a conversation about, as you mentioned, how the week went, what to prepare for next week, what we can expect next week,
Mhm.
and also use this chance to maybe explain something, talk about some subjects. So, for example, um, you mentioned partners, like with my wife, I am the person who's like managing our finances and our kind of, and all these chores. Like she's the one very often that initiates things, but then I am the maintenance guy, right? So when I do that, sometimes I want to show her how I'm doing it so that she knows where to find things, so that she doesn't. So again, hey, we just did all that. I have all these documents here in this note, or here in this notebook, or here in this Nozbe project. So this way she knows where to find things when she cannot get a hold of me because I'm on the
Mhm.
meeting or I'm somewhere else, I'm just traveling. Then she knows where to find things. And the same also goes to my daughters. As I mentioned, you said, people are different. Like, for example, our middle daughter, she is more of the person that she really likes to know what to expect, Like she doesn't like kind of the surprise, spontaneous decisions. Like I mean, she's okay with that, but she prefers to know ahead in advance to kind of brace herself for things.
Mhm.
So if we have plans, it's good to have this weekly review to explain to her, hey, this afternoon we have plans with this family, or we have a dinner together with this family, so that she knows what to expect. And it keeps her calm, and then it keeps her, that she knows what's going to happen, and then also it lets her kind of control it, so that she knows how to prepare herself.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's not about this tyranny that we mentioned in the subject of in the title of this episode. It's more about setting up some rules, some universal rules that will be okay for everyone in the family, and about giving some good habits and good role modeling that will give them some peace of mind, less stress, and greater confidence, because their life isn't easy. Today's students are really burdened with a lot of extra classes and tests and
Hmm.
exams. It's all stressful, so it's great as to give them some tools already at that stage.
Yeah, completely. Like we have here a comment from one of our listeners, Wojciech. He says that when my daughter forgot about something, I threatened her, I'm gonna install Nozbe for her, and now I see this threat is also happening on your part, on your side. So let's see. So Wojciech, yeah, feel free to install Nozbe for your daughter. I'm gonna try this with my daughter, and let's compare notes. Let's see how this goes. Um, and
Okay,
speaking of
so
Nozbe, we have a Nozbe corner, right?
yes, our Nozbe Corner, where we would like to announce some new features in Nozbe. Today we will talk about one of them. It's called automatic task prioritization, and difficult word. But basically, it's all about who decides about what's your priority. In our first application, Nozbe Classic, it was designed like that. Anything that is delegated to you, anything that has a due date today or that is overdue, would land in your priorities. Many people
Automatically.
complain. Mm, huh?
Automatically, yes. Hmm.
Yes, automatically. Many people complained about it. How come someone can decide what is my priority? That's not logical. You have to change it. So, in the newest Nozbe, in our new Nozbe application, we created a view that is called incoming. And there you have all the tasks that require your attention, and you manually have to put uh, the chosen tasks in your priority manually, not automatically. But there were also people complaining about the fact that there is a lack of automatization here, automation here. So now we have the
Best
solution
of
for
both worlds.
everyone.
Best of
Yeah.
both worlds. Now, if you go to priority setting, priority view in Nozbe, you can decide which tasks go also are automatically prioritized, and you have the options to choose if you want to have only due date for today, or only overdue, or only the ones that you are delegated to, or even you can even choose the ones that somebody mentioned you, that can be your priority if
Mhm.
you feel like it. So
Yeah. So you
you
just tell Nozbe which task should be automatically moved not only to the incoming view but also to the priority view.
yeah,
Automatically forever. Of course, you can then cancel it, but
yeah, you can
that
change
will
the
be the
settings,
rule.
so it's not forever and ever, like, so every decision is temporary, so it's fine. But the thing is that I still prefer to have my incoming, so to have my kind of notifications in the
Yeah, same
incoming,
here.
and manually prioritize things.
Mhm,
But to each their own. If is as we know, especially old habits die hard. We have many Nozbe Classic users who have recently migrated to the new Nozbe, and they like the old habits. They like
mhm,
the old things, and especially
mhm,
I think then once they have this feature, they will be able to decide later, like if really they want to keep the old system, or maybe have just only a few things. automatically prioritized.
Mhm.
It's all up
I
to them.
also think it depends on the type of work you are doing. If you have to react to what people want from you, if you're I don't know, like executive assistant or something, then it's great to have things that are when you are mentioned or where something is delegated to you, going straight to your priorities. But yeah, we encourage you to test this feature and to see if it works for you or not.
Yeah, completely. And we really encourage you to test this feature because, especially if you're on a free account, there is a special offer that, but only here, only today, and I mean not today, only this week. So the first week of July 2025. If this week is gone, the offer is gone. So sorry, future listeners. But the first week of first week of July of 2025, if you upgrade to a yearly plan, if you buy Nozbe, we will reward you with additional 3 months. So instead of 12 months, you will have extended your account for 15 months. This way, now before summer vacation, you can buy Nozbe and you can have it for this year and basically almost the entire next year. So basically, 1.5 years almost of Nozbe. So it's a great moment to do it. And as you know,
Especially
we've been
that
in
you can
business 18
also
years.
take advantage of another bonus that we usually give to our listeners.
Yes. So if you go to nozbe.com/podcast and sign up for a new account, you get the $30 of credits. And on top of that, if you upgrade to for a year, you get 3 months extra. So basically, yeah, you get more than 1.5 of years. Until the end of 2026, you are set up. Productivity is set up. You can just get things done. And but of course, if Nozbe is not for you, as we mentioned, then you can always ask for money back. So it's not you're not risking anything. The only thing that you're risking is that you will have things organized. So
scary.
yeah, and especially now, I think before now, getting ready for the summer vacation, it's really good to really review things, get things organized, and prepare everything so that you have a great summer vacation, and then you're ready for September, after the vacation.
Yep.
All right. So please don't be a scary productivity tyrant like myself to your kids. Foster creativity, help them get organized, and also model productivity to them.
Practice what you preach.
Practice what you preach. Thank you. And also,
we hope you won't miss us a lot, but unfortunately there will be a break, almost 2 months of summer break. We will restart our podcast on September 3rd.
Yes, we will have the live recording on September 3rd, and the audio to our listeners will go on September 5th. So the first week of September, the podcast is back. So we are taking also a summer break to make sure that we also get the things done and have some vacation and don't have to, coordinate schedules. And to have a break for next season of No Office podcast. So stay tuned in the first week of September.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for being an amazing listener of the No Office podcast. Every other Wednesday, we meet to talk about productivity and hybrid lifestyle because we believe that work is not a place to go. It's a thing to do. It's a special gift only to No Office podcast listeners. When you sign up for Nozbe using this link, nozbe.com/podcast, you'll get $30 of credits, which you can use to upgrade to Nozbe Premium. Nozbe helps thousands of smart business owners and their teams get their professional and private life organized in a single app in a simple way. And Nozbe is free for up to 3 active projects and 3 people on your team. So start today and claim your free bonus credits, which you will later need to upgrade to unlimited projects. Once again, thank you for being an amazing listener Thanks for your support and for spreading the word about our No Office podcast and Nozbe. See you and hear you in the next episode, and in the meantime, claim your bonus credits here.